Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The 2024 class is starting to heat up a little bit for Michigan. And again, when Michigan lands a commitment, we're going to be talking about it. You know, my brother and I are big Michigan fans, and we landed kind of an interesting one. Ted Hammond from the state of Ohio. We're going to talk a little bit about what Ted Hammond brings to the table, and also Michigan making some serious inways in the recruiting trail in the state of Ohio. You saw the sign over the weekend, the best players in Ohio come to Michigan. If that can start to become more true and we can start getting some of these guys who probably are going to Ohio State, I think you're already seeing the tides turning. I think those tides are going to be turning in a more meaningful way. Before we get into it, though, again, just want to say thank you to you guys. Talking Michigan football is probably my favorite thing to do. We talk a lot of college football. We try to talk a lot of Michigan football on this channel. And again, the support you guys have shown, especially from the Michigan fans, we really do appreciate it. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel if you guys are, especially if you guys are Michigan fans. Again, we do appreciate all the support. Let's get into Ted Hammond. They're not the flashiest recruit ever, right? 357 nationally, the 10th best player in the state of Ohio, 6'5", 258. You like the frame. I wonder if he's going to play inside or outside. Again, this guy's a junior who's already 260 pounds. I can see Ben Herbert in that Michigan strength staff putting on some weight and kind of having him play more on the inside as well because he's already a big, big dude for a junior in high school. Now, yes, not the flashiest recruit that will be in the 2024 class, but if you think about how Michigan has been finding success lately, it hasn't necessarily been with the five-star blue chip recruits. Like we've had those guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones come in and not necessarily make the biggest impact. Guys like Rod Moore, who was a 3-star out of high school, Ronnie Bell, a 2-star out of the state of Missouri way back in the day. Like Michigan's done a phenomenal job kind of finding the diamonds in the rough, and their evaluation of high school talent and their development has kind of, in my mind, has been what's led to the success you've seen in the last 2 years. And it's kind of what Michigan is continuing to do. I think this 2024 class has the capability to be extremely special. Again, you look at some of the targets and some of the guys who are crystal ball to come to Michigan. Jaden Davis headlining the class from that quarterback spot obviously would be a massive pickup to kind of jumpstart this 2024 recruiting trail campaign. But again, Michigan has done a phenomenal job kind of taking a closer look at some of these guys in the 24/7 sports rankings and evaluating guys, not necessarily based on if they're 3 or 4-star, if they're top 100 in the country, but getting guys that are going to fit the scheme, develop those guys, and during year 3, 4, 5, they're really, really solid starters for Michigan. Now, I want to take a look at the state of Ohio real quick, though, because, again, Michigan is trying to put an emphasis on recruiting the state of Ohio. This is a very, very talented state of high school football. Again, a lot of talent gets to California, Georgia, Texas, Florida, and all those states have very, very talented football players. A state that's really slept on in terms of producing talent is the state of Ohio. A couple guys in the top 100. The 2023 class was loaded from the state of Ohio. But take a look at some of the guys who are considering Michigan. We got a crystal ball from Brian Robinson, the edge guy from Youngstown, Ohio. Luke Hamilton's already committed and seems to be kind of one of those dudes who are trying to get some of his boys from the state of Ohio to come to Michigan. Obviously, you're going to see some Ohio State crystal balls, but then you got Michigan getting Ted Hammond, Ben Robeck from Lakewood, Ohio. A lot of guys considering Michigan from that state of Ohio. And again, it's a very, very talented state in terms of bringing in elite talent from the high school level. Now, let's take a look at what Michigan is doing in this 2024 class. They already have 4 solid commits. They're going to add a 5th with Ted Hammond. Again, Mason Curtis from Nashville, Tennessee, that linebacker. Very excited about him. 6'4" frame, 200 pounds already. Probably finishes as a top 150 recruit. And then Luke Hamilton, another guy from the state of Ohio that we're getting in and already committed in the 2024 class. You add Ted Hammond. What I'm more excited about is it's 2022, 2023. Those recruiting classes kind of suffered a little bit because Jim Harbaugh was kicking around the idea of going to the NFL. And again, when you're trying to sell guys to go play for you for 3 to 5 years, it's really hard when your head coach is kind of thinking about moving to the NFL, and hard to get guys to sign the paper to come play for a coach that they're not very sure if he's going to be there in the next 2 to 3 years. Jim Harbaugh seemingly is locking himself into Michigan for an extended period of time. I think you're going to see some more success from Michigan on the recruiting trail. I don't know if we'll see the days where Michigan's a top 3 class in the country, because it doesn't seem like they're putting an emphasis on getting some of those really, really high 5-star blue chip kind of guys. Yes, it's nice to have those guys, but Michigan's putting more of an emphasis on identifying guys that they like, that they think they can develop and will fit into their system. And those are the guys they're getting after. And so, according to 24/7 Sports, Michigan might not have a top 5 class in the country. But again, the development of these players and the players that are making an impact are former 3 low 4-star kind of guys that I think that speaks to 2 things. One, the identification of talent at the high school level. Jim and his staff are doing a phenomenal job doing that. 2, the development. I mean, I really do think that we have the best strength coach in the whole entire country in Ben Herbert. And you're seeing that with the offensive line. You're seeing that with the defensive line. The physicality that Michigan's been playing with lately is next level. And quite frankly, 24/7's recruiting rankings, they tend to lean more speed and athleticism. Not necessarily how Michigan wants to play football. That's not really how they butter their bread. Now, there are some really intriguing. We talk about Jaden Davis. He's kind of the crown jewel of this class, a top 20 guy nationally, the number 2 quarterback in the 2024 class. Seems like Michigan has the inside track on him. Justin Scott, a defensive lineman from Chicago, another top 20 dude nationally. Every team in the country wants him. Michigan, he delayed his recruitment or his commitment date, but Michigan also has the inside track on him. A lot of guys are coming in for Michigan's junior day, are taking a visit to Ann Arbor. The more success Michigan has on the football field, the better it will help the recruiting, the more attractive Michigan becomes, especially when you keep racking up those wins against Ohio State. Those players from Indiana, Ohio, the Midwest, they're going to be thinking about going to Michigan. Those are kids who grew up watching Ohio State beat up on Michigan for a decade. The tides are turning, and now I think a lot of people want to go and be a part of what this Michigan program is doing. I think you see some evidence in it with Ted Hammond, who's in Ohio State's backyard, but commits to Michigan. Another massive pickup for Michigan on the recruiting trail. Again, 2024 just getting started. Still a couple guys in the 2023 class that Michigan's looking at. But you got to be optimistic because the development's been there. Now Michigan just trying to add more talent to this class. Done a very, very good job in the transfer portal. Exciting time to be a Michigan fan. Again, unfortunate ending to the season against TCU. We've talked about that a couple times, but this Michigan team looks to be just as good, if not better, heading into 2023. And there's not a lot of teams that can say that. When you look at Georgia, when you look at Ohio State, when you look at Alabama, all losing their quarterbacks. Michigan bringing back their quarterback, bringing back some of their main contributors on both sides of the ball. Very exciting time. Optimistic about the Michigan Wolverines heading into 2023. We'll continue to monitor some of the talent that is taking visits to Michigan, that is committing to Michigan. We get a big one here. Ted Hammond coming to Michigan. Welcome to Ann Arbor, Ted Hammond. We appreciate the support. Again, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.